I'm a Rick and Morty fan. I've liked Rick and Morty from the early days. I understand everything going on around Justin Roiland right now, and he's proven himself to be a bit of a horrible person behind closed doors. I want to find out what's actually happening around this.
Brace yourself, Rick and Morty fans. I've got another huge squanch for you today. It's more bad news.
Oh.
For those that are unfamiliar with the situation, I'll go ahead and briefly break down the cliff notes for you. It recently came to light that one of the series creators, Justin Roiland, has been facing felony domestic violence charges for an incident that took place in 2020. It's been an ongoing thing, but has only recently made it to the public eye. And as you can imagine, this news has been a massive hit to the plumbus for the entire fandom. They're very serious charges. Felony domestic violence as well as a false imprisonment charge. Like, that's serious shit. There's nothing swifty about domestic violence. So when all of this news broke, a lot of people were rightfully upset. But since he still hasn't stood trial for these things, it still was left up in the air with what's going to happen to the series going forward.
I have been really fucking busy. I didn't know any of the shit was going on. Like, I genuinely didn't know any of the shit was going on. What the fuck? That is so stupid.
There's been a ton of hearings and even a pre-trial, but still no official trial date has been set, though that does seem like it's right around the corner. And as I mentioned, I was assuming that Adult Swim wouldn't make any statements or any changes like firing Justin Roiland or anything like that until after the trial, whether it's a conviction and he's found guilty or he's found innocent. I didn't think they would act in the meantime. But just like my doctor when he said I would grow up to be 5'8", I was wrong. Just a
I keep forgetting how short he is. Is he also the voice of Rick and Morty? Yes, he voices both Rick and Morty. I think they have a replacement for him, and I don't think you're gonna tell the difference.
A couple hours ago, Adult Swim flopped their meat on the table, releasing this statement, which is super cut and dry and to the point. Adult Swim has ended its association with Justin Roiland. Rick and Morty will continue. The talent and dedicated crew are hard at work on season 7.
Wait, there's a season 6? I thought there was only 5. I'm so behind on Rick and Morty.
This was very shocking to me because, again, I didn't think they'd do this when he still hasn't been found guilty on the charges yet. So it really seems like they must know at least more than the public does about this case and feel confident that whatever's happened here is not good and it's not someone that they'd want to associate with their brand anymore. Though
I mean, the whole situation feels like it could be... it's likely just a preemptive action to avoid potential issues. It does make sense that, yes, you tell him, we've removed you from the show temporarily whilst these are going through. We're doing this to save face. However, if you're found innocent and it's not a problem, and it's proof that there isn't a problem here, then you can come back onto the show. But it depends on what happens. It's just it just feels like a preemptive strike on a potential big issue. It was likely he turned around and came up with it saying, I don't want to hurt Rick and Morty. I know I'm innocent, blah, 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 blah. We're doing this for this reason. Okay, cool. It makes sense to do it preemptively.
It is also possible that they're just doing this because keeping him around is bad optics for Rick and Morty, which is by far their biggest cash cow that Adult Swim is still suckling the tits off of.
Yep.
So maybe they're worried that by keeping Justin Roiland around, it'll be a huge hit to their bottom line because of everything that's already surfaced. Even outside of the charges here, the majority of people have already kind of ruled that Justin Roiland is creepy at the very least. There was this massive flood, this opening of Pandora's box of weird DMs that Justin Roiland was accused of sending to people, as well as text messages going out to people and employees. I'm not sure if those are 100% confirmed, but they are turbo stinky. That shit is fucking foul.
Yeah, I have heard about these DMs. Like, I know I've been too busy to know what the fuck is going on, or, fully, but I have heard about what's happened in these DMs, and they are fucking creepy.
The flirting sounds like it's actually him playing the Morty character and trying to flirt with real people, so he'd say things like insane in the membrane, and even text like he's Morty saying like, oh, whoa, hubba, hubba, whoa, jeez. It's all pretty bad, but again, I don't know if any of that's 100% confirmed, so I'm not gonna bother.
What the fuck?
Pulling it up. But yeah, once all of that shit pulled itself out from the deepest pits of hell and hit the Twitter space, it pretty much banished his reputation to the Shadow Realm even before the courts did it for him. So the people have already charged and found Justin Roiland guilty of cringe.
Well, the thing, remember what happened with Johnny Depp? Where Amber Heard literally turned around and said the shit, and it was all, and then we had the court case where it was like, nah, this shit fake. The court of public opinion strikes hard and strikes early. It is possible that it's all fake, but at the end of the day, it's best to take it with a grain of salt, personally. I might be wrong. I'm likely wrong. I'm very likely wrong on this, but remember what happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard when Amber Heard was to say, oh, he's an abusive person, look, I got a bruise on my face, and then it was like, Johnny Depp is a woman beater, and then that was it. No one wanted to talk or basically openly accuse him of being like a woman beater, and then it's like, nah, he's the nicest person on the planet, she's the piece of shit.
Which is another massive crime and huge sin. But I'm hoping Adult Swim did their due diligence and actually investigated this themselves internally to see what was true and what's not, as opposed to just looking at Twitter screenshots, since some of the people that accused him of sending these fucking weird messages were former employees, I believe. So surely there'd be a way
okay, yeah, that sounds
to verify the authenticity of some of the claims, and I'm hoping that's what they did before making this decision. I hope it wasn't just impulsively done as a way of trying to save face in the public eye. But as of right now, we just don't know a whole lot about it. There's not a ton of information about the specifics of the case, and Adult Swim's statement is only 26 words in total. Like, there's just
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Holy shit! I had to check.
More letters in this statement than a single League of Legends username. And there's also not any deeper information from other outlets. There's no big scoop that's breaking somewhere. Right now, everything's just pretty
I had to count it, Fizz. I needed to verify he was right. It's like, how couldn't I? I had to double check.
Unclear of exactly what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't think the statement Adult Swim put out is a problem or anything with it being so brief. It makes sense considering how serious and sensitive this case is. So I'm not surprised that they didn't go into details about it, because I imagine they probably can't.
They likely can because of legal reasons. A big problem with police investigations is they can't release shit. You can't. If there's a murder investigation around a person, or there's like an investigation around a person, if you make information public, it just causes tons of problems.
Now, there is another big development that I haven't seen a ton of people mention yet, and it has to do with Justin Roiland's video game company, Squanch Games. Now, I'm sure you know of the game High on Life. It's been glorbing a ton of trick holes all over the planet, a very divisive game, but a very popular one nonetheless. That was published by Squanch Games, and now they've put out a statement letting everyone know that Justin Roiland has resigned. But
it feels like Justin Roiland has stepped down on his own accord to save his companies. I feel like he stepped down, but he's still a shareholder, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, when he's in charge, he owns 51% of a company, but when he steps down, he's keeping 10%, he's keeping like 15 to 20% of it. Him stepping down feels like he's just trying to save face.
Squanch Games will continue to develop games even without him at the helm. Squanch Games is also no stranger to controversy here, because they also had their own little scandal where they settled a sexual harassment lawsuit in 2019.
Oh my god.
Yep, once again, just more horrible shit all around. There's just nothing good recently for Rick and Morty fans, but I will quickly wiggle my finger and say, I told you so, because I made the prediction that if they do shit-can Justin Roiland for all of this, they would still continue Rick and Morty without him.
Yep.
A lot of people said that if Justin Roiland isn't there at Rick and Morty, developing it, writing it, voicing it, that they just wouldn't let it continue, it'd just die. but I made the argument that it is just too lucrative. It's a fucking billion-dollar franchise. It is by far the biggest thing Adult Swim has under their belt.
That's true.
I said that with that kind of money, there's no way they just bury it, even with Justin Roiland not being there anymore.
If I go up to my mum and I say Pickle Rick, she'll know what it is. She'll know about Pickle Rick. She won't know shit about Rick and Morty, but she'll know about Pickle Rick.
That's exactly what they've done. Justin Roiland will no longer be there, but they are going to continue to make it going forward without his presence. That means there's going to be new voice actors voicing Rick and Morty,
Yep.
as well as probably very different writing. For some people, that might actually be exciting, but for most fans of the franchise, I imagine that's pretty upsetting to hear, and I think a lot of people will drop it after season 7 if it's super drastically different.
I don't see them drastically doing anything different. If I'm right, Justin Roiland probably has not only season 7 written, but he probably has 7 through 9 or even 10 written. He probably has a loose framework in place. And he's probably got plans for roughly every episode, plus loads and loads of throwaway episodes. People were just really jumping on this, even after the whole Depp stuff that happened last year. Not saying he did or didn't do it, innocent until proven otherwise for me. Yeah, that is the logical way to do it. You're innocent until proven guilty. However, modern society now has it, so it's when you've been accused of something, it's guilty until proven innocent. And it's such a stupid system. But it's like, yeah, you're guilty until proven innocent in today's standard. And it's stupid. To me, until this goes through, my opinions on Justin Roiland is he made Rick and Morty, he made High on Life, he's made a few other spin-offs around Rick and Morty, or Rick and Morty-esque characters, or Rick and Morty-esque universe, and that's how I know him. I don't give I personally don't really give two shits about his personal life. Saying that, if it's proven that he has done false imprisonment and physical assault or sexual abuse or domestic abuse or whatever the fucking abuse it is, then I'm like, ooh, yeah, I don't like him anymore. But much like J.K. fucking Rowling, it is you can love the art and you can still hate the artist. People forget that. Hi, Mel.
I made the prediction that should they continue going forward without Justin Roiland, Rick and Morty would peter out like a little sad wet fart over time, just falling off, dwindling further and further. And I stand by that shit like a proud kid at a science fair with his little baking soda volcano. I really do think that this will be the slow demise of Rick and Morty with the entire different group at the helm. I think if Justin Roiland's not there, the best thing to have done would just be stop it altogether. But like I said, there's far too many clams on the table for that. The amount of doubloons Rick and Morty brings in is ridiculous. So there was never really any chance of that, but this is going to be just a very slow and steady decline in the quality of it, I would imagine. But who knows? Maybe I'm super wrong about that as well. It's very possible. Maybe they bring in a really talented team and they just fucking knock it out of the park without Justin Roiland being there. Maybe it's even better without him being there. A lot of people, myself included, have become very tired of his style of writing where it's all just kind of the same formula of stutter through a joke and then over-explain everything and repeat yourself 50 fucking times in the space of like 20 seconds. So maybe it actually does improve. It's possible.
He's not wrong. I love Rick and Morty because I like how it pokes holes at it, but its humor is very much... it's like one person who does knock knock jokes like 20 times in a row. Like you go up to them saying, and they go knock knock, and you're like what? And then they go, no, you gotta go who? And then you do the whole, and then you go through with the knock knock joke, and then it's like 2 seconds later, and then you laugh, you go, ha, that's kind of funny, and then they do another fucking knock knock joke, and then another knock knock joke, and then another knock knock joke, and then another one, and then that is basically Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is in your face. Why aren't you laughing? Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's still funny. It's smart humor, but then it's also fucking stupid humor. It's like it feels like it's intelligent humor mixed with fart jokes every 5 seconds. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You just made a really funny joke about like the like quantum mechanics, and then you turn around and you use a fart joke. Choose your side, dude.
But I do find it unlikely. But anyway, that's kind of where this whole situation's at. Justin Roiland himself hasn't put out a statement. His legal team did put out a statement talking about how optimistic they are with the case and proving his innocence. But he himself hasn't said anything, which I think is obvious and par for the course here, given the magnitude of this situation. So I don't think we'll hear from him anytime soon, but we'll see. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.
When it comes to Justin Roiland and them trying to find someone to replace with the voice of Rick and Morty, it feels like as long as they can replace his voice, they're fine. That's it. I feel like if they can do that, they're fine. Also, this might make people a bit happy.
Like, he's been really cool. So I actually reached out and we're buddies now.
I'm optimistic based off of this alone.
To be very similar to mine. So his Morty voice is also eerily on point. Like, I was telling him, I'm like, dude, you're so close that like we could record stuff and I don't think people would know who was who. It's so good.
Hey, Rick, I feel like I'm forgetting something important. Yeah, me too. I can't think of it, though.
I don't think Rick and Morty's got a problem with this dude in the world.
Well, you know what they say, if you can't...
I think Rick and Morty's going to be fine.
It probably wasn't that important,
He's awesome. Like,